K1037 aims to bring Kahnawà an informative, community-oriented, and diverse talk show. To ensure a wide range of opinions, K1037 reserves the right to screen calls. Guests' opinions are not necessarily those of the radio station or its management. Now, Dede Wataran. All of us are talking on the Party Line Talk Show on K1037.
You are listening to the second part of today's talk show, K1037, the Duatardo. I'm your host, Gawineta Peggy Mayo Stand-Up. And in the studio, we have Kimberly Cross Zachary and Allison Jacobs. I almost forgot her last name, and I know her so well. Anyways, the issue today is tourism, and they're talking about their survey and the survey results that they did regarding tourism. So, Kimberly, would you like to start?
Yeah. So, before the holidays, we had Planet Consulting from Kahnawà. Their team conduct our strategic plan survey. So we wanted to do a community consultation to make sure that our strategic planning process, when we create our 3-year strategic plan for 2022 to 25, would be a clear vision that was community owned, and we would know that what we were doing, all the activities moving forward, would take the community's concerns, opinions, and ideas into consideration. So I believe it was November 20th to December 19th that we conducted these surveys. So the surveys, it was done in a hybrid process. So they administered them by telephone, and they had a targeted amount that they wanted to reach by telephone, because it's always best that way. You know, hearing people's comments instead of just reading them on an internet survey is so much better. Really getting to clearly pinpoint what people mean, you know, when they're giving their statements or their ideas and concerns. So we were really fortunate that the Planet team was able to conduct them. So we did it by telephone and also by online survey on SurveyMonkey, because there are some people who aren't comfortable doing it by phone or just not available. So we had that option as well. So in the end, we did have 481 community members who were surveyed, and that is just great. We surpassed the amount that we wanted to survey with this process with Planet. We only had a goal of 370 as per the proportion of Kahnawà when you do surveys for the percentages. So I'm really happy with our results. You know, the amount of people shows that people really want to voice their opinions. They want to be involved, and whether or not they want to see tourism move forward, you know, they voice their opinions. So I'm really happy about that. So they also did some in-person kiosks. I forgot to mention.
Okay.
And I think it was a really good a really good approach. You know, it was hard because we couldn't do too many in person because of the COVID restrictions at the time. So we did the best we could, and we incorporated these survey process and results in with our strategic planning sessions that we had. So in November, our tourism team, we hosted 5 strategic planning sessions where we invited various stakeholders and community members to come and participate. So maybe it was a business owner, maybe it was somebody who works within the Dewadunizakta organization, maybe different parties from the cultural center or MCK or the church. All the people that we work with, you know, regularly, we invited them to come and voice their opinions. And then we did hold some community sessions. We held one session at the Mohawk Trail Longhouse, and we held one session at the youth center for the youth, where we had about 20 participants. And the youth, it's interesting, you know, you're always wondering, well, what do the youth think? They're the ones who we're making all these plans for, right? So that they're part of the vision, that if we're creating jobs, that they want these jobs. Like, let's hear from them. You know, do they want this industry? And they were really very interested in it. Some were very unaware, and that's one of the results we're going to discuss. And some were really open to the idea and gave us new ideas as well. So we're really fortunate that we got to include them as well.
Allison?
So I guess really there was some main points in the strategic planning survey that we wanted to confirm with the community, and I'm going to say that we really wanted to find out if people were in agreement or somewhat of an agreement for tourism in Kahnawà in general, right? And so we have some really good results stating that 94% of the people that participated in the survey are in agreement or somewhat in agreement of continuing with tourism, to continue to develop it. Kimberly has been the person at the forefront of the development of our welcome center, everything that's offered at Kahnawà with Kahnawà Tourism. It's so broad and huge, the connections that she's made over the time that she's been hired to do this job. And I think going into a strategic session that she coordinated and put together, it was really nice to be able to hear what people thought about tourism in general, right? So we're ready to have a new plan going forward. One of the things as well, there was a focus area that we wanted to identify what we would further develop. One was our history, one was arts and crafts, and another one was storytelling. That's what really the community wants us to tell our visitors or explain to our visitors. Those are the three areas that they really want or agree with further development. As well as the attractions. So the top three attractions that they would like to see further developed, again, is our tourism center and the offerings that we have there. And as well, Echoes of a Proud Nation powwow. Those are all like 46%, 48%. People love to have the powwow. There's a big economic boost. There's a lot of community involvement. So again, that is another positive attraction that people continue to support. And as well, they're looking forward to the Cultural Center, Museum, and Theater, which is going into fundraising shortly. I'm not sure if they're started. Kimberly can touch on that. And that in itself will be a huge boost to tourism in terms of an attraction, right? Something for people to come to see. There could be performances. I can just envision how exciting that will be when it's finally complete. One of the other things we also identified was awareness of what Kahnawà tourism does. People are not really aware of all the things that are happening Kahnawà tourism, and as well, we wanted to identify challenges, what people were concerned about. So there was safety and security, of course, the pandemic. There was some things that we know are challenges, like lack of tourism infrastructure. So people that have a tourism business, maybe they don't have some infrastructure, water, that type of thing. And then community perceptions, right? What people thought about Kahnawà. And as well, community awareness of our initiatives. So there was quite a few things that we wanted to identify. And another one, which was really important, they're all important, but which was really something we wanted to find out, was what was preferred locations for further development. And what we found was that, of course, they don't want to see development in non-residential. They want to see development in non-residential areas, so more of the area of the old village, which is sort of like almost like a historical area. And as well, they prefer to see development on the major highways and not in residential areas. So that was something that we found. I'm wondering, Kimberly, if you wanted to talk a little bit about the awareness part. Now that we're here, you can talk about what's going on with tourism.
So from these findings, as we're incorporating them into the plan, we noticed, with people saying that they agree, disagree with tourism coming up, we wanted to know why. So in part of reading the comments as to why people stated they disagreed or they were uncomfortable, a lot had to do with, like what Allison had mentioned, fears, safety and security. So, we were working on, in our plan, various different ways that we can help to make our community members feel more safe and to help make sure that our visitors are sticking to the areas that we would like them to. So one of the biggest projects that we're working on right now is our Explore Kahnawà, which the name isn't finalized, but that's the name we put in our project proposal. So our Explore Kahnawà app. And this is going to be a way where, let's say a visitor is at the Welcome Center, they can scan via a QR code or use a link, and it's going to pop up and give the historical information about the Welcome Center. Maybe what it was before, that it was soldiers' quarters, what year it was built, and then what the Welcome Center offers. And then the same thing for the church, the same thing at the cenotaph, and all the different destinations that we have on our tourism map. So this is going to go around, and we're developing it right now. So that way visitors can be able to use it kind of as a wayfinding source. So to know where they're going, to have a guide kind of with them so that they're getting the guided tour without having a guide. And also it's going to link in right with our map. So it'll be showing all the businesses, it'll be showing all the attractions right there with the map on the website. And people will be able to do it that way. So it's going to be an information that they can read, but also it's going to be in audio and some video. It's going to be in English, French, and Mohawk. So it'll be for our community as well to use.
We will be taking a short break right now, and when we return, we will continue our discussion on K103.7, Dedewatarda with tourism. You are listening to K103.7 Dedewatarda. I'm your host, Gawineta Peggy Mayo Stand-Up, and in the studio we have Kimberly Cross Zachary and Allison Jacobs regarding tourism. And we were talking about the results of the survey. Mm-hmm. And what are your plans? Where are you going from here now?
Yeah, so one of the next steps that we're taking, I was just discussing our new wayfinding app and our map that we're working on. So our map is interactive as well right now. People can click on it and find it right on their phones and click and get directions specifically so that it's easier for people not to get lost all around the community. It also helps for our businesses, for people to directly find the businesses. One of the new things that we're going to be implementing is on our Facebook page. When we have planned guided tours, we're going to be posting, that, listen, we have a tour today and they're coming from, like we had one last week that I'm not sure if it was posted actually, but it will be from starting in April. So, last week we had one that they came from Ontario, but they were students, international students, and they were coming here for a tour. So please welcome them. They're a group of about 20 people, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to be posting that so at least the community is aware of the tours that are coming in the town. So if they're lost, maybe you can help them find their way, or just so that, there's awareness of people who are in our town. At the Welcome Center, our reception, we always discourage residential areas that people are, wandering or visiting the residential areas. And we have a guest sign-in book at the Welcome Center. So we've always had that, but we're really making sure that everybody who comes in signs it, where they're from, and they put a phone number to contact so that we know if anything happens or whoever's coming, we know who they are and how to contact them. And that was kind of COVID tracing too. After also, we noticed that people were not really aware of what was going on with Kahnawà tourism. So whether it was projects we were doing, initiatives, or the different partnerships, there was about 89% of the participants who were aware, but they weren't really sure, if it was Kahnawà Tourism who was planning it or if they were partners. So from here on out, we're going to be doing an awareness campaign, showing what we're doing. That's one of our first steps in our strategic priorities in our draft plan. So is doing an awareness campaign to, this is what we do. This is what we're here for. These are the services we offer. This is our team. And all the different products that we have, like our website, we're going to have our app, we have the map, we have road signage. Like there's so much that we've been working on in the past 8 years. So showing really what that is. And then we're going to be doing various different, I keep saying awareness campaign, but, you know, maybe social media posts, or we're going to have a newsletter, a new tourism newsletter that we're going to send out. We've been having people sign up for email subscription. So we'll be sending that out, posting it on the web. And we're going to talk about things like maybe what is a visitor? What is a tourist? What are the differences? Who our clientele is? You know, who are the people that are coming to visit Kahnawà as a tourist? How we can make Kahnawà safe or make safety standards. You know, what types of activities are acceptable or not acceptable. We also noticed in the findings that we're going to create like an advisory board. So a group of people that will get together to state, you know, what sort of activities are acceptable to share. So whether it be cultural activities, whether it be language, location, really it's been our team who's been putting it together, but we want, you know, a collective group of people from various points of the community to come together, bring their expertise and share it with us so that we can create these, you know, standard guidelines.
Allison?
So I think one of the important points too, as well as to talk about, is that tourism gets approximately 1,600 visitors a year as on average since the beginning. And those visits are very well structured. I'll give you an example. People will call in and say, I have a family of 5. We're coming in for this day. We want to go visit the shrine. We want to go to the cultural center. We want to go visit a store. We want to have lunch. It's all coordinated. They come in, they meet the guide. The guide takes them. They go have lunch, and then they'll go to another place to see different, say they were going to the cultural center. So it's all structured. And it's like booking a trip. It's booking a day trip, basically. So very similar. So that's one of the points we wanted to make, was that with tourism, it is very structured. We know who's coming in. We have people with them. We want to make sure that they're guided to where they need to be going. I'm going to say it's similar to the powwow, because the powwow is such a huge event, right? They get 8,000 people over the weekend. And it's very structured, right? There's certain roads you drive down. There's people that are guiding them to where to park, and so I mean, it seems that we can encourage tourism, and it works well in a structured way. That's what we see.
Yes, it sure does.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to continue that. And again, by posting the visitors that we're having in the community on social media, we'll bring awareness that there are people visiting. So that's what we want to continue to do, so people feel secure in knowing that there's people coming. So I don't see that decline. I mean, we look at our target to increase our visitors. We're only looking at increasing our visitors right now by about 135 additional people per year as we go along.
And that's at the Welcome Center.
And it's at the Welcome Center. We want it to be slow and steady so that we can evolve in a way that we have all of the people in place, because as well, tourism has grown, right? We've grown that we need more people to help with visitors. So we have to be slow and steady, like the community is accepting slow and steady, I guess, if we say it that way.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to having, continuing to develop tourism.
Yeah.
It's
So
been
when you
such a
have,
great success.
You when you mentioned a structured visit and everything, does that, like when you mentioned the tour, is that like a walking tour if someone wanted a walking tour
So it can,
with a group of people?
Exactly. So it can be a walking tour. If it's a larger group, then sometimes they have their bus that they're on. So it's a bus tour. So the walking tour is more focused on the historical village area and what used to walk to the cultural center because it was in walking distance. So now that the cultural center has moved, we have to re-strategize, and they'll have to drive there and meet their tour guide. But if they're on a bus, then that's okay. Then the tour guide goes on the bus with them and gives them the guided tour. And I'll add a little plug-in. We're doing a tour guide recruitment campaign right now. If anybody wants to be a tour guide. They can fill out an application at the Welcome Center. So our tour guides are all Kahnawà Hirono. They're super knowledgeable in our history, our culture. We do tour guide trainings every year so that we know that our tour guides have us an expected tour that they should give. However, we market that our tour isn't, a cookie cutter tour. where you're coming here and you're getting the same thing that everybody else is getting. When you come to Kahnawà, you're like part of the family for the day. So you're hearing stories and, you're learning all these different things, and we cater it to what the tourist or visitor wants to learn. So if they're coming here and they want to learn about a specific portion, for example, we had last week a group of kids and they did a lacrosse demonstration. They wanted to learn about that. Whereas, we've had groups in the past who they wanted to focus more on history or, working with the church. They want to learn more about the religious history. So we really cater it to what our visitors want to hear, because we don't want to just offer a cookie cutter tour and they're in and out and that's it. They're going to forget about us afterwards. Part of the Indigenous tourism experience now is really experiential tourism. We want them to feel like it's an unforgettable experience here. And we have to do a lot of product development within the next few years. So that was another thing that we found in our surveying and our sessions, that where we are is a good place. We have our products right now, we have our destinations. However, if we do want to increase it, there is a lot of work that still needs to be done. That's working with the Cultural Center Museum, that's working with local businesses. We have so many restaurants just for, that sort of tourism. Like there's culinary tourism is a whole industry, and we have such great restaurants, like 4-star restaurants that can fall right into that category. So it's really seeing, which industry or however many categories of industries that we're into, how are we going to fit our tours into that, and how the community would like to develop it further. So we're going to be working with the community in our awareness campaign of these are the different types of tourism, the different industries, ways that we can improve. And, it's not limited. I know we're all running out of time. What we posted so far, our survey results are out there on the public, so people can see it on our website. If they go onto the Kahnawà tourism page, our survey results are there. They can also email us at info@kahnawagatourism.com or call us at the Welcome Center 450-635-2929 and speak to one of our team members. And you can get the survey results. You can review them. They're, it's not a secret. We also have our draft strategic plan. If anybody would like to review it, we're in that process right now. We want community validation. If you'd like to review it, please request it and we will send it to you. We didn't post it on our website because we don't want anybody copying our plan from other places in the world. We worked hard. This is our plan.
Yes, of course.
So we will send it to you by request. But we really want to encourage that open dialogue. It's not just, a closed book. We made a plan and it's going to sit on a shelf. We are working real hard to implement it.
But we are coming to the end of the show today, so at this time I'd like to say go to Kimberly Cross, Zachary, and also to Allison Jacobs for coming in for this report of the strategic survey results. And would you like to say anything?
Thanks for having us. I enjoy sharing.
For sure. But it's obvious you're going to have to come back. We'll have to rebook you because I had a lot of questions to ask, but we didn't get to it because of all what you were giving us. Okay.
Yeah.
So Nyawa Goa.
Thank you.
And once again, we were talking regarding tourism, and there will be more sessions coming up in the future. Right now, you will be listening to Jeremy Zachary with the Zafran with the 1 o'clock news, followed by the 1 o'clock jump with Susie D. I'm your host, Kawineta Peggy Mayo Stand Up, K103 Dedewatardo.